You enabled secure boot because Windows 11 asked for it, and suddenly your PC starts restarting, shows a black screen, or won't boot properly. If that happened, don't panic. This usually does not mean your PC is dead. In most cases, it's a BIOS settings conflict. In this video, I'll show you how to safely enable secure boot on Windows 11 and what to do if screen stays black or the system keeps rebooting afterward. So let's get started. Before making any changes, let me show you what actually happened in my case. As you can see on the screen, the moment I enable secure boot option in BIOS, my PC stops booting normally. Instead of loading Windows, it entered a continuous restart loop, turning on, restarting again and again, and showing reset system on the top left corner, and only showing a completely black screen with no display output. At first, it looked like the system had crashed or something seriously had happened. But in most cases, this issue is caused by mismatch between secure boot settings, boot mode, or BIOS configuration. So before trying random fixes, I am going to show you exactly how to fix it step by step. In this situation, make sure that the secure boot option remains enabled in BIOS settings. You will also need a bootable USB drive because we will use it during recovery process. If you don't already have one prepared, don't worry. I have included a tutorial that shows exactly how to create a bootable USB step by step. Once that's ready, come back and continue with next steps. Once your bootable USB drive is ready, plug it into one of your computer's USB port. After that, restart your PC and enter the BIOS or BIOS boot menu, depending on your motherboard or laptop brand. The key is usually F12, F11, F9, Escape, Delete, or F2. You will typically see it briefly displayed on the setup screen. Inside the boot menu, select your USB drive from the list and press enter to boot from it. After a few moments, the Windows setup will appear. Don't click install now. Instead, click on repair my PC. This will open the Windows recovery environment. From there, go to troubleshoot. Now click on command prompt. Now that we are inside the command prompt, now you are ready to run commands need to repair the boot issue caused after enabling secure boot. Now we will show you how to increase the UEFI partition size because in many cases secure boot loop and black screen happens when UEFI system partition is too small or damaged. Before continuing, there one very important thing you need to understand. Diskpart can string partition, but it cannot move partition. That means you can only extend the UEFI partition if the unallocated space appears directly next to the UEFI partition. If any another partition is sitting in between, diskpart won't be able to expand it. Also, before making any changes to the partition, back up your important files if possible, because partition changes always carry some risk. Inside command prompt, type diskpart and press enter. Diskpart is Microsoft's built-in disk management tool that let us view and modify partition from recovery environment. Now type list disk and press enter. This command shows all the storage drives connected to your PC. In most cases, disk 0 is the main Windows drive. If your Windows installation is on another disk, select that instead. In my case, my boot disk is 1. Now select your disk. Type select disk, your main boot disk number and press enter. You should see disk 1 is selected. Now display all partitions. Type list partition and press enter. This is where you can check the current layout. A typical GPT Windows installation may look like this. Let's quickly understand what this means. System means UEFI partition that stores boot files. Reserved means Microsoft Reserved partition. And primary means your Windows installation. If your UEFI partition is only 100 MB, it may sometimes be too small after update or secure boot changes. Next, we will need to create unallocated space. Select the Windows partition. Type select partition, your Windows partition number, and press enter. Then type string desire equals 500 and press enter. The number is in MB. This example shrinks Windows by 500 MB. After a few seconds, Deskpart should report success. Now there should be approximately 500 MB of unallocated space. Now select the UEFI partition. Select partition, your UEFI partition number, and press enter. If this succeeds, Windows will increase the UEFI partition size. But if you get an error, like in my case, that usually means the free space is not located directly beside UEFI partition. And this is where Diskpart reaches its limitation. If extend fails, you will need to try advanced recovery method. This method is riskier because it recreates the UEFI partition. Only continue if you understand the risks. Now we will need to select the UEFI partition. Type select partition, your UEFI partition number, and press enter. Now we will delete and recreate a new one. Type delete partition override and press enter. Now we will recreate a large UEFI partition. Create partition UEFI size equals 500 and press enter. Now we will format it. Type format quick fs equals FAT32 label equals under inverted comma system and press enter. Next, we will assign a letter for our UEFI system partition. Type assign letter equals L. You can choose any letter between M through Z and press enter. Now the partition exists again, but the boot files still need to be rebuilt. Now we will rebuild Windows boot files. First, we will need to exit from the disk part. Type exit and press enter. Now find your Windows drive. Unfortunately, as you can see in my case, Windows partition currently does not have a drive letter assigned. This is completely normal when you boot into recovery environment because recovery mode sometimes removes or changes the drive letter automatically. Don't worry, in your case, the Windows partition may already have a drive letter assigned, or recovery might assign a drive letter than what you normally see inside Windows. So here, don't assume your Windows drive is always C. Next, we will need to verify that the correct partition was assigned. Type C colon and press enter. Then run dir and press enter. If this is the correct Windows partition, you should see the correct folder such as Windows, Program Files, User, Program Data. If you see this folder, the drive assignment worked correctly, and this confirms that you are pointing to the actual Windows installation. If you don't see those folders, check with another drive later. However, after checking with multiple drive later, if you can't find your Windows partition, then don't worry, we will need to assign a letter for Windows drive. Because in my case, Windows partition currently does not have a drive letter assigned. So I will be type disk part and press enter. Next type list volume and press enter. Look through the list and identify your Windows partition. Usually you can recognize it by its size and file system. If the Windows partition does not shows a letter, select that volume. For example, my volume is 2. So I will type select volume 2 and press enter. Now here I'll be assigned the drive letter Y. So I will type assign letter equals Y and press enter. You should see the message confirming that the disk was successfully assigned the drive letter. Now type exit. Now check again using dir. Alright, now as you can see here it is. Always confirm using dir before running repair commands because using the wrong drive letter can reveal boot files on the wrong partition. At this point, we will already confirm the correct Windows partition and assigned the required drive letter. In my example, let's assume the Windows installation is located on drive Y and the UEFI system partition is assigned with the drive letter L. That means the command will be this. Now let's type this final command. bcd boot space your Windows drive letter colon backslash Windows space /s space your UEFI drive letter colon space /f space UEFI or all and press enter. Sorry, I just noticed I made a typing mistake here. I accidentally typed here bcd edit instead of bcd boot, and that's exactly why this error message is appearing. So let me correct the command. Alright, now let's execute it again. Now let me quickly explain what this command does. Y colon backslash Windows. This tells Windows where the actual Windows installation is located. /s space your UEFI drive letter colon. This specifies the UEFI system partition where the boot files should be copied. And /f space all. This tells the systems to create UEFI compatible boot files which are required for secure boot. After pressing enter, Windows will start rebuilding and copying fresh boot files into the UEFI partition. If everything completes successfully, you should see the message boot file was successfully created. Once you see this message, close the command prompt and shut down your computer. Remove the bootable USB. If the issue was caused by damaged or missing UEFI boot files, after enabling secure boot, your PC should boot normally again. As you can see, my PC has now booted successfully and Windows is loading normally again. To confirm that everything worked properly, let's open the system information and check the secure boot status. And as you can see, it now shows on, which means secure boot has been enabled successfully and the system is recognizing it correctly. And to double check everything from inside Windows, let's open Windows Security. As you can see, it's now showing up here correctly. That means the repair process worked successfully and the system is now booting properly with secure boot turned on. So I hope this guide was helpful for you. If you have any question, then please let us know. Please like, comment and share. We need your support. And guys, please don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.